So we'll look for that recording as well.
Hello, hello, hello. I still see people joining, so I'm gonna just hang out with y'all for a quick minute here. Quick thanks to Loxo for letting me throw this little shindig here. It's going to be much more of a workshop than it is a webinar. I did put together a slide deck for you that I hope you guys really enjoy. I put a whole bunch of time and effort into it. Wait just a couple seconds here. Guys, there is a Q&A section at the bottom. I encourage you, please ask questions throughout. This is not a webinar, it's a workshop. So stop me, I will show you things that you guys want to see as I'm doing it, as opposed to going back all the way at the very end. So please don't hesitate. Before I kick this off, do you guys have any questions? Oh, thanks. Some people said hi, hello. Somebody asked if I'm feeling better. Yes, I did get COVID, which was really freaking weird, but I am feeling better now. Thank you. And the pictures, yeah, I'm in the process of redecorating. I redid my whole office. It's in a whole nother presentation. I can show you guys pictures. It's pretty badass, if I'm going to be honest with you. Yay. Okay. Hi, everybody. I appreciate all the love on this one. But everybody saying hi, just understand that I'm saying hello back to you right now. And we're going to get this rocking and rolling. Again, please interrupt me with questions. So here we go. I'm going to show you guys my gorgeous spreadsheet. Here it is. There's a ton of data on this presentation, so please pay attention. So agenda for today, guys, we're going to go through really quick. I'm going to go through the Boolean basics. If this is an area you definitely want some help, by all means, reach out to me directly. We'll touch on some advanced Boolean, but not in the way that most people use it. I'm going to show you a couple of cool tips and tricks I found to use it from talking with some very interesting and cool people. We're going to talk about stop words, which is something I actually only recently discovered, which is weird, but it is what it is. We'll kind of talk about where they exist, what they look like, how they work, etc. We're going to go a little bit into natural language search, just tactically kind of how I do it and how it works on different platforms. And then we're going to go over some of the weird research hopefully you guys are seeing the agenda. Yeah. Can somebody give me like a yes, I see the agenda in the Q&A? Yay. Thanks, guys. Cool. So finally, we're going to go over just some weird research I did in terms of like term limits and what you can do on different search engines versus LinkedIn for Boolean. What I will start with is the basic Boolean as we discussed. So I do have a Boolean builder that I will be sharing with everybody. Hopefully you guys can make some use of that. And I'll show you kind of how to do that. But I wanted to start initially just going over the operators, right? So really quickly, I'll make this a little bigger for everybody. And, or, not. These are the three main Boolean commands. And, very simple. Both terms need to be present. That means Java and Spring. Both of these words have to be present. Or, either or. This word or this word have to be present. And not, meaning the word after not cannot show up, or whatever web page that is will not show up. Pretty basic stuff. Again, feel free to ask questions as I'm going through this. Interesting things to note here. So the plus sign that's been awesome for forever is actually degraded in its service, and I encourage people not to use it anymore. Many people don't know that the pipe, which on a Windows keyboard I think is top right, it's next to the O. If you hit Shift and the button next to an O, is a replacement for or. And if you're wondering who the hell cares, there's a reason why you'll use a pipe, which I'll show you. Same thing, not and the minus sign. Same logic as the or statement, and we're going to go through that. Fun fact, which I discovered through all of this, there is an order of preference on your Boolean operators. So you ready for this? Not takes top priority, and is second, and or is third. So if you guys remember PEMDAS from when you were younger, Gen Z, I don't know if you all had this, but it was basically like parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. It showed the order of importance, like what gets done first. The order of importance is not, and, or. And the only ways to combat those are using parentheses. Someone asked, in what search tool? That's based off of the Google Boolean search engine. So any of the companies that have pulled the Boolean engine from Google, like for example, LinkedIn, will function based on that hierarchy. The next three that we'll go over here, I had a question, how do I combine inclusive and exclusive search within source and database? Example, include title, but exclude title. I will get to that point in my presentation. Thank you for asking. So the parentheses are to group things together, right? Simple. Grouping or statements and separating them. Here's the rule of thumb, guys, for people who get really confused when to use parentheses. If you have an or statement and an and statement, you need parentheses every single time. So if you look at this example really quickly here, you'll see it says chief or CHRO and HR human resources. We read this in Boolean as one of these two, chief or CHRO, and one of these two, HR or human resources. If we were to remove the parentheses on this, here, due to the hierarchy of operations, it would read chief or CHRO and HR or human resources. So super, super important to make sure that we're using our parentheses to group our or statements and separate them from our and statements. Again, I can share this document with anybody who's interested. You can shoot me an email and I'll send it your way. The next are quotes. So quotes are really, really, sorry, questions. I'm going to be better about this. Do operators need to be capitalized? Yes, they do need to be capitalized. Which search engines are case sensitive to the commands? All of them. You can get away with or and not on some occasions. The problem is what search engines are going to see it as natural language, the word and, versus the operator, always, always, always capitalize. Some people claim Google doesn't understand parentheses. Do I say otherwise? I do say otherwise. There are times where Google will and times where Google won't, which I'm going to actually show you guys later. The great thing about Google and searching is it is insanely inconsistent, which makes it really great to work through for measuring results. And I'll show you later again what I mean. It's wild, some of the subtle differences that things make for seemingly no reason. In the example, what changes if I remove the and? So in this example, if I remove the and, hypothetically, nothing would change. This hypothetically still says chief or CHRO and HR human resources. Here's a fun fact, and I did the research on this, and you'll see it later in the presentation. I did this just to see what's actually going to happen. Believe it or not, you get less results without the and than with the and. Why? Can't possibly tell you. I literally spent a couple hours trying to figure it out, and I have no idea what's going on. But I'm going to show you all of those intricacies so you can kind of see why some things work, why some things don't, and why at the end of the day, guys, Boolean really is about a lot of experimentation. So that being said, we're going to truck right along here. Quote, again, guys, keep them coming. This is for you, not for me. Again, I want to talk about the things on the agenda, but honestly, if I can help y'all out, that's really what I want to do. So for the quotes, the terms must appear exactly as they appear between the quotes. So administrative assistant, as you see here, there's 3 S's. This will only show the spelling with the 3 S's. Now, is that 100% true all the time? No. Just like with any of this, none of it is true 100% of the time. This is true 99% of the time. There are some search engines that do word stemming and would automatically kind of recreate that for what it's supposed to be. By and large, your LinkedIn searches, your Google searches, what you put between the quotes is what will appear between the quotes. The caveat to that, which we'll go over in a second, is putting an asterisk within here. So a lot of people think about this in terms of like buzzwords. Hang on. Wait, when you do a Boolean string, it's case sensitive, or is it just in the quotes? So for Boolean, the commands are case sensitive. Don't write AND lowercase, it's capital. If you're putting stuff in the quotes, capitalization does not matter. Spelling does. So if you see here, this has 3 S's in it. I know we're recruiters, right? But like, it's supposed to have 2 S's. If you search for it with 3 S's, it will only show this exact result. And a thing to think about on this, guys, this doesn't say administrative assistant. This also, if we're spelling it correctly, doesn't say administrative assistant. A computer literally reads this as ADMINISTRATIV, I'm not butchering it, right? Space ASSISTANT in that order. That's all it is. They're just letters and spaces and numbers in a particular order. We're assigning a meaning to it and often forget that they're just words and letters, right? So really, really keep that in mind. And you'll be better off using more of like a natural language approach or a paradigm to what you're looking for. And here's a great example, guys. I'll get to the questions in 2 seconds. So people often think about this for phrases, right? I want to search for administrative assistant, or I want to search for software engineer, or I want to search for, accounting, CPA, or certified accountant, which is great. Yeah, totally do that. That makes total sense. Here's an interesting use case for this. If I want to look for people who are software engineers, right? And I want to look, just really rough search here. I'm building it in front of you, in New York City. And I want people who are not currently working. Check this out. Has anybody thought of doing this? So what does this say? This says that I don't want to see anybody minus who has dash to present on their LinkedIn profile. Why? That's super freaking weird. Yeah, of course it is. I'm weird. But check it out. This person doesn't list any dates on their profile. This person doesn't list any dates. This person doesn't list any dates. So what you're going to find is a lot of people who may or may not still be in their current role, and they're never going to say to 2020, oh, that's great. Way to go, LinkedIn. You're really killing the game. So interesting thoughts on how do you double check to make sure people aren't working, or, hey, I actually only want people who are working. I think they may use an M dash on LinkedIn, but you'll see July 29th to present, right? This person I'm sure has the same thing. And so it's thinking of creative ways of, to present, right? So we want to think of more creative ways to use these operators than just looking for specific words. Think about the words that actually appear on people's profiles or on their resumes or on their Facebook pages and how they're ordered and how they appear. And let's start thinking that way about it, not just I need a software engineer who does Java or I need an accountant with a CPA. Is there a difference between searching in Google versus DuckDuckGo? Yes, there is. We're going to cover that. Is there a preferred search to use? Yes, Google is preferred over the search engines. Is there a Boolean string or command that will allow you to search for years of experience? No. The only way that you could do something like that, which we can cover in a second, is using a combination of the number string and the around function. And we can go over that. Remind me if I don't talk about it during a round, but kinda, but not really. Do I find that real estate databases and car auction sites utilize Boolean for their search functionalities? Yes. Most things with a search bar are built on some version of the Google Boolean engine at this point. To confirm, and, or, and not are case sensitive. Yes, they are case sensitive. They have to be positive, capitalized in order for them to work. There will be examples where that's not the case, but if you want the surefied way to do it, always capitalized. Are Boolean searches case sensitive? Not talking about the operators. No, they are not case sensitive. Even things inside of these quotes are not case sensitive. What's the highlighter tool I'm using? I'll totally show you. It's called multi-highlight. It's awesome. You can put in multiple different words and it'll highlight them different colors on a page. You'll see it being activated as we go through the presentation. Can you have my SSAR page link? Yep, email me. Why are you using Google to search LinkedIn candidates instead of just searching on the LinkedIn site? Thank you so much for sharing that question. I hate LinkedIn as a company. Their database is fine. I use the platform. As a company, I hate them. And it's also faster to search on Google than it is on LinkedIn if you know what you're looking for. And I can show, if we have time, what that looks like. I'm actually writing an article for SourceCon about this very topic of why you should use LinkedIn to search for specifically, like when you're looking for a specific person or company or title, just use Google. It's faster every time. How do I differentiate or for either or and the state of Oregon? That is such a cool question. I have no idea. I haven't thought about that. I'd probably have to use quotation mark, comma, OR, or comma space OR to denote that it would be used as like a state there. If you are wanting to use a statement like or and you want it to be the actual like state of Oregon, you can put it in quotes, which will take care of that for you because you can't Boolean inside of quotes. So for example, if you look for Oregon or Oregon, this will just read this exact order of words, right? Remember, it's inside the quotes. Operators outside of the wildcard do not work here. I hope that helps. Someone asked a question about searching specific locations on LinkedIn through Google. We'll cover that. We do have limit searching in Google and LinkedIn. We'll cover that as well. Cool, good questions so far, guys. Wildcard, it serves two purposes. One is as a fill in the blank, basically, for letters. The other is a fill in the blank for words. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you can either use it for, if we want to do software and engineer and develop. So this is going to look for anybody, I didn't really know. So this is going to look for anybody who has the word software and the word engine, engineer, engineering, engineered, and develop, developer, development, developing, etc. This is a completer. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated. You can use the asterisk inside of quotes to replace words. What do I mean? If I want to do develop, boom, software, what that's going to do is replace words between these two. What does that look like? That looks like develop, 1, 2, 3, software. Develop, 1, software. Develop, 1, software. A great way to start integrating some more natural search, natural language in terms of how people actually communicate this. Now, what you'll notice is this breaks down a little bit when you try doing it on an individual word. So this is still showing develop and then a word between it, not developer, developing, developed. So hopefully that makes sense. Outside of quotes, it's going to show developer, developing, development, right? Developing is right there. Thanks for showing that. Development is right there. So hopefully that answers some questions. Do I recommend any Chrome extensions for Boolean sourcing? I'd have to think about that. I'm sure there's some good ones. I don't really use them, so I'd have to do a little research myself. Wendy's asking about the around function. We'll get there in 2 seconds. Is the near? No. So near does not work on Google. It doesn't work. It also works fairly shitty on Bing also, but like, you know, who's counting? And we'll get there in literally 2 seconds. It's right down here. The numbers, this is literally just for a series of numbers. So 2.7. This will show anything that has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Where is this useful? It has a few use cases. One is for zip codes outside of New Jersey and Massachusetts. You can use it to find like basically a zip code radius if you're doing a resume search. The other is if you're looking for a unique time where you want people who've run a budget of X to Y, or people who've been responsible for a P&L of X to Y, or people who've managed a team from X to Y number of people. You can actually use this to search that and not have to limit it to 1 million or 5 million. It can be any number that they list between those. I will get to the around with the asterisk for sure. Is there a difference between using an asterisk directly after the word or leaving a space? Yes, there is. The space typically denotes that you're looking for a word where the asterisk is. If you use develop asterisk as one word, it's going to fill in the rest of the word, as you saw with developer, developing, development, developed. Developed space asterisk is going to be develop space whatever word space whatever word you put after that, right? Develop space custom space software, develop space long space range space software, etc. When I talk about using area codes, I'm going to show an example. Yeah. So if I want to do area codes, maybe I do in URL resume, and let's do, I don't know, 20001 ... 200, I don't know, 36 maybe. That may be too narrow. That's just in New York. And let's do, I don't know, software engineer maybe. Cool. So what it's going to show, if we see in here, let's open David's resume. Gosh, please don't have you of course have your information up there. Sorry, David, I didn't mean to blast your stuff everywhere. So somewhere on this page is a number between 20,000 and 20,000, whatever it is. Oh, here it is, right here. So that's his zip code. It shows up right there up top. Please don't email David. Let's respect the fact that he does not want me doing that here. This person's probably going to have their zip code somewhere on here also. I'm assuming their resume sits down here. So what it's basically doing is looking for zip codes. And if you follow how zip code works, it groups around in general areas and keeps going up by one. Does not work in New Jersey, does not work in Massachusetts because they start with a 0. It just completely kills the whole thing. So sorry about that ahead of time. Otherwise, it definitely works. When searching LinkedIn via Google and Boolean, do you have to add EN after site linkedin.com indicate you only want US candidates? If you only want US candidates, it's in IN. I think, I don't know where EN is. That may be Europe, but I'm not 100%. Can you do, someone's asking if we can do this search here and basically do, what is it? Develop asterisk space asterisk software. Answer, no, sure can't. Doesn't work super well. See, as you see here, it still has just the word develop. It's not changing the actual form of the word because it's in a quote. Any workarounds for Massachusetts, New Jersey zip codes? Move. Just kidding. Honestly, I don't use the zip code search regardless when I do this, so I don't have a great workaround. I did this in Mass, in Boston, and in New York City for a while. I just chose not to do the zip code search and instead did it based on city and actually doing an around search, which I'll show you. Vroman asked me about what I'm using to do the site search. I'm going to show you guys. It's a cool little tip and trick. Can you use the same logic to find diversity candidates? Yes, you can. Any way to determine visa status? There is, I'll talk about that offline though. Some of it's cool, some of it's less cool, to be honest. But yeah, short answer. Cool, let's get into the more advanced Boolean. Guys, I love the questions. This is awesome. Someone asked, how does my Chrome URL go directly to linkedin.com/in? I'm going to show you guys how to do that at the end of this. I promise. It's awesome. I will teach you. I will physically show you, so be ready to go into your settings in Chrome and do all of this. Any way to search for languages spoken? Yes, there is. It's the around function. So we have enough questions around around. Let's just touch on around right away here. So around function, it means word around, literally like around, this many words from this word. That's what that means in its entirety. So someone just asked, can you do this to do a language search? Sure. You could literally search for, ready? The word languages. Holy crap, my brain is not working. Around, I don't know, let's do 10 and do French. So French language coach, French instructor, private tutor for French. So it's literally showing anytime the word language appears by the word French. Now, one of the interesting things that we're trying to like kind of hack here is at the bottom of the profile where it lists languages as his skills and endorsements. So maybe that's a better way to do it. So we want to maybe do a search for endorsements near French. Was another way that we could potentially run that same search. Because again, it's not about the meaning of the word. It's just where does it show up on their profile? Endorsements, around 10 French. Cool. So I'm assuming each of these people probably has this listed in their endorsements section at the bottom. Way to go, LinkedIn. Killing the game. Should your sheet read in URL, resume, or CV with a capital or? Oh, I'm sorry, you're back on my sheet. In URL. Yeah, sure should. You rock. That was great. That was great. Even better than that. That's not going to work anyway, but that's fine. This obviously needs to be updated. Thanks for pointing that out. How would I search for years of experience? So think about an around function. So what do we have on a proper LinkedIn profile when we look at their school? So we have years, they graduated, and a degree of some kind. So what could you do? You could say, hey, I need someone who, I don't know, went to university, period. So you do maybe university around, we'll leave it at 10 for S&G here. I don't know, let's do 2003 to 2009 and see what shows up here. So this person may have worked at the university. So we can do a not in title search as well. Make sure they're not currently working there. Cool. So this will be interesting. And again, you're trying to break the way that you think about looking for particular words. It's a paradigm, right? So let's see when this person graduated. 2004 is when they graduated. Okay, so that one fit. University is within 10 words of 2004. Does it work again? I'm not going to check every one of them, obviously, but yep, there it is. University within X number of words. Perfect. And so you're going to play with that and try to figure out what works really well. On endorsements, Jermaine, reach out to me. I can go over that in more specific. That's super specific what you're looking for and how to search through skills and endorsements. Someone asked about the W/5, meaning within 5 words. I think that's defunct now. I haven't seen it listed anywhere on any of the modern documentation for Bing or Google. Cool. Last things, in title, in URL, site, file type, and in text. These are modifiers or operators, excuse me, that will search specifically through either the text on a website, will search through the URL that's listed, or the title. So you guys have seen me do site already. So I'm going to show you again really quick. So site search, if you want to look through LinkedIn for people, that's your site search right there, right? LinkedIn.com, the /in ensures that you're looking at people's profiles, not job posts or news or companies, etc. And you can do the same thing for other sites like GitHub, for example. Fun little tip and trick for GitHub. This should be your GitHub search. It would help if you actually put .com, Mike. That's awesome. So why report or block? Again, let's think about natural language. What appears on people's profiles? Block or report. Sorry, I wrote it backwards, right? That doesn't appear on repositories. That doesn't appear on company profiles, etc. That only appears on human profiles. And so it's a great way to weed out non-humans. So that's the site search. It'll literally search through here. The next one you'll see is in URL. The URL is exactly what appears in this bar up top. So some interesting things we can do. I use this a lot when I'm searching on Facebook. So if I want to search Facebook, I'll do site, facebook.com, and then I'm going to use the around function. Again, thinking of a unique way to do this. I'm going to use the word present around, I don't know, 10. It's an arbitrary number. You'll have to experiment with it on your own. Engineer. And so what you're going to notice is, cool. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate the spelling correction. Okay, so this person lines up, but man, this is an event. This looks like it's a page. Oh man, this is a post. So what if instead you added at the end of it, minus in URL photos, minus in URL posts, minus job, minus listing, minus in URL, I don't know, events, minus in URL pages, right? So it eliminates anything that would appear up here that you're seeing when you go down, photos, right? So boom, I get it. I'm not a robot. Now check it out. Now they're all human profiles. And what did we do? The word present has to be within 10 words of software engineer. Check this out. Software engineer, look, there's the word present, right? You can bet this person has the same thing on both of their profiles as well. Oh, it was right there. Software engineer probably says present if I had to look at his work and education. Present, great. Present, great. There it is, engineer, within 10 words of the word present. So again, it's getting creative about how we're using some of these search terms. All right, presents. Yes, I do hate LinkedIn. I tried the asterisk function and it pulled 0 candidates. Yeah, give me until the end. I promise you before you go off doing it on your own, there are certain things that work on certain sites. Asterisk, quick teaser, doesn't work on LinkedIn unless you're using it to replace a word within quotes. Again, I'll get there. Any new techniques for roster or list searches on XLS? No, nope, I do not have any, unfortunately. If you're looking for accountants, salespeople, et cetera, do I typically use LinkedIn to search for candidates? I don't typically only use LinkedIn ever for anything because I'm not a huge fan. And I'm going to show you why actually in a bit. I use, if I want to do like really in-depth searching for specific stuff and not just carpet bomb the world, I'm typically using like Loxo Source or something like that, where I can search much more specifically. Eric J. Quiff asking about a Bing operator in stream set. Eric, you know that you're better at this than I am. It's amazing. No, I'm not, but you should certainly fill us all in on that later. Facebook example, can I show something that drills a little more specific than software engineer? Sure. So these are people who have Scala somewhere on their team, or their name is Scala, in which case May want to do a minus in title on that. Minus in title, Scala. Cool. So yeah, so these are people who mention it in their profile, somewhere in their about, or their interests, or they're in a Scala group. And so you can start playing around with things, you know, another around statement, group around blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of different options on how you can further customize based on how close words sit to one another, or even just whether they appear on profiles. Can I go into more detail about in URL? Yeah, of course, absolutely. So here's what I was showing about the in URL. I'm going to remove these for now and run the search again. So in URL is this URL up here in this bar. So check this out. This is not a software engineer on Facebook, right? This is a page. So when I open that one, this is an event, right? Where's another one? This one is a post. Okay, definitely not what we're looking for. So let's open it up and see what's up here. Facebook.com/pages. See that? Next one, Facebook.com/events. Next one, Facebook.com/medium/posts. So how did I know that? I'm just reading right here. Pages, events, posts. And so I don't want those to show up. And so I will paste in, hey, I don't want this word to appear in the URL. I don't want this word to appear in the URL, or this word to appear in the URL. Run that, and boom, it eliminates it. Is the search string still 500 characters for Google? It is not. It's not a character limit anymore. Can I suggest other sites except LinkedIn, GitHub, and Facebook? Yes, but it's too vague of a question. It depends on what you're looking for, whether you want to pay for it or not, how advanced your Boolean skills are, and what you want to pull away from the search. You can reach out afterwards. Happy to answer that in more detail. How do I source inside sales profiles outside my LinkedIn network? This search is outside your LinkedIn network. So just doing what we're doing right now will solve that problem. Isn't a site search for Facebook using current instead of present? No. No, it's not. It says about work and education to present. Boop. When you say LinkedIn, you're referring to basic LinkedIn platform versus LinkedIn Recruiter. Yes, I mean, I'm using both of them. For this demonstration, I'm doing it on LinkedIn Recruiter, but it different numbers, same application. Holy smokes with the questions. I love it. Guys, I'm going to go forward just a little bit further. I think I'll answer a bunch of these. So let's rock and roll. The next one I want to cover with you guys is file type. Somebody had asked about that a little bit. If you're doing a search on, let's say, Google, you saw me do this earlier. You could do in URL, I don't know, resume, and I don't know, file type, PDF, right? This is going to show anything where the URL literally has the word resume in it, and there's a file type PDF associated with this. This is a terrible search. Don't do this exact one. But you can start using this to look through, let's say, people who have a LinkedIn profile and have a PDF on their actual profile itself, right? And let's do resume. So you're able to start kind of looking through and figuring out different tips and tricks that are going to work for you. So I'm not a huge file type user. I get it. Some people swear by it. It's awesome. You can find random lists if you do like a search for XLSX. In tech, for file type, thanks Brian Fink for this. If you go to xle.com/search, the file type searches here are way better, way better. And again, I can share all this data with anybody. In general, this would be the site to, nice Mike. This would be the site that you want to use to try to find any of the documents to download. Again, thank you, Brian Fink. Their searching is okay, but their document retrieval is pretty badass. Cool. Next up on the docket, we have in text. So in text has an interesting use case. I again found out this morning with Brian when we were chatting. I hadn't even thought about using it this way. If anybody searches on Instagram, check this out. Site, ready? Insta, you have to spell it like a normal person though. Instagram.com. And watch this. You can do in text, linkedin.com/in. And let's do, I don't know, software engineer. We won't get too crazy with it. So check out all of these Instagram profiles who say that they say software engineer somewhere, and it has a link directly to their LinkedIn profile on their website or on their Insta page, right? So you're using a cite command to search here, using in text to make sure it has these somewhere written, and then you're using the exact search to search for software engineers. It's super fun. It probably best for like marketing, sales, stuff like that, but you can find some interesting folks regardless. In title is a big one. So here we go. Software engineer. So common point of confusion. In title, this does not mean the candidate's title. This has absolutely no reference to their occupation in any way whatsoever. The title is the title of the page. It's literally this underlined clickable link right here. That's what the title is. And so we're looking for this in the underlined clickable section. So do not be confused. This is not someone's title. This is just what is written here. So if you put, for example, Scala, which is a software programming language, you will find people whose name is Scala that shows up. They're literally a principal at a law firm or something. So be super mindful about that. Also, with both in title and in URL, you cannot successfully do this. Even if you put it in parentheses, it's not going to return the results that you want. I know it seems like it is. When you start looking through these, you'll have to trust me, they're not. If you want two different things in title, you have to do two different in title searches right here. And now that will show people who have Scala and software engineer. You'll see it's much less on the results that come back. That's because this is a very specific phrase to have in the title. The same thing is with in URL. You can't do in URL, resume, or somebody brought this up earlier, or CV, right? This will not work. You have to do in URL and in URL. Put that in a nice little parenthesis, and you can go from there. Just recapping, yeah, that definitely shouldn't show up. Recapping, in URL and in title, you cannot use an and statement to bulk them together like that. You have to use multiple in URLs or in titles. And the last piece on in title that is really interesting, check this one out. I ran this search a few weeks ago, and I like to do Scala and DevOps because it returns way fewer people. Watch this. You want a weird intricacy of Google and why you're never gonna get it perfect? Look at this. I'm gonna take DevOps, and I'm literally just gonna move it over here. No difference, just moving it. 51 results. Of course, thank you for doing that now. I appreciate that you're gonna operate like that. Boop. Cool, super funny. I swear on my life, this worked completely differently 2 weeks ago. Boom, see what I mean? 9,190 results. And again, let's try moving this all the way to the beginning maybe. There we go, 8,890, just moving the location of this word within the search. And if you're gonna ask me, why is that? Or what's the difference? I have no idea. I cannot figure it out to save my life of what's going on. But yeah, that's in title, that's in URL. Last fun fact about around, somebody asked earlier, how can you search specifically about where people live, right? Because if you literally search for NYC, right? Or, you know, if you want to be proper about it, you do, or New York, this just means they've listed these words on their profile somewhere, still not a robot. This doesn't mean they live in New York. Maybe they went to NYU. Maybe they worked for a company named New York. So how do you do that? How do you actually search for a location? Check this out. Again, I'll share this with everybody. Using the around function is a really useful thing to do. I look for third around 25 from San Francisco. This is Eric Jakewith, by the way, channeling through me right now. He showed me this and we played around with it for a while. Around 25, first, second around 25. Why? Why? That seems really random. Check this out. Second, around 25 from San Francisco. Maybe they're a first, maybe they're a third connection. It's just the easiest way we found to consistently find something up here that's close to this. Contact info doesn't work well because it's a hyperlink, just if that's what you're thinking. So yeah, that was a fun around function. And then the asterisk thing, thanks to Mike Vroman for this one, .com/in. When you're doing more of a deep dive natural language search, I showed this earlier, but you might want to do develop, engineer. That's not going to come back with crap. That's a weird thing to say. But it's going to show to develop and engineer, fine, develop and engineer. And it's going to put these little keywords or buzzwords between it. Fun tip and trick, guys. This works in LinkedIn. I'll just go to Recruiter. You can actually use this same thing in the keywords section to look for folks. And it'll return with the exact same logic again on people's profiles. It's the only way that you can use the asterisk in LinkedIn. Someone brought this up earlier. If you're trying to go develop asterisk, LinkedIn will have none of that. It will not help you in any way. Again, because they're the worst. So keep that in mind. It does not work successfully, and it's really bad when you're dealing with it in titles. See, senior software developer, engineer, great. So I know, again, it looks like it's working. I promise you, as you go down all of the list of people, they get worse and worse and worse. They are not every permutation of this word. So I think that is the most of it. If some of this is throwing you off and you're like, well, site searches and file types, oh my gosh, what do I do? Guys, go to google.com/advanced_search. It'll break it down super easy. Look, specific site you want to search through, it gives you the example. Terms appearing, you can literally search for any of these terms in the URL, in the text, in the title. It breaks down the and and the or. It does the number ranging for you, the exclusion for you. So it's google.com/advanced_search. It'll help. Cool. I'm going to take a quick break and see about the questions I have. And I'm going to go real quick. What do you suggest for diversity searches outside of searching for women exclusively? Audra, connect with me offline about that. There's a bunch of different options that you have, from sororities to universities to slight language differences, for example, like universidad or NEN as in Spanish or the equivalents. Thoughts on searching LinkedIn in a city area versus manually putting in surrounding cities. That's a lot harder to do, but most people mark Detroit or like greater New York City area. So typically it'll work with Detroit. Otherwise you can try to finagle a zip code search doing the ... that we talked about. Operators different in Bing. There are a few operators that are different in Bing. You'll be very sad to note the around function is not present in Bing. They say that they use the near function, but it's absolute garbage. I've tried everything I can to get it to work well. It just doesn't work well. On the Instagram query, any way to search for a certain state or region? I think if you just put it afterwards, I did that earlier today actually with New York. There's not guaranteed that that's where they're going to be, but again, doing a combination of around searches and things, you may be able to find something that kind of sticks there. What is the first around, second around, and previous? I can explain again. The first around and the second around in my previous search is saying here, I'll run it one more time for everybody. Guys, I'm good to stay longer if you can. I totally get it. We'll be recording all of it. So it's first, second, or third around however many words from San Francisco. Check this out. This is my connection to this person, second. And it's within 25 words of San Francisco. You'll always have a connection number and always have it around whatever you're putting here. How to search relevant hashtags on Instagram via X-Ray. Yeah, there's a site. Where in the world do I have it here? It may be Instagram bio search. I have it saved somewhere. Connect with me afterwards. It shows all like the relevant hashtags that are open now. Eric, good point. You do only get the first 300 results on Google. So you should eliminate foreign language profiles like in URL /DE/ZH. I think the /in helps with that, Eric, but you would know better than I would. He's basically saying doing, site : linkedin.com/in, but then doing minus in URL /DE. That would be Germany, I think, and any of the other country codes. With the DevOps search, you only wrote Untitled one time for software engineer in Scala and not Untitled 2 times. Hopefully I answered that. If not, email me and I can show you what I meant. I was showing the difference. The search results when you try doing and are totally askew. Do I have these Boolean searches to share? Sure do. Just reach out. Where can I get the shirt? I have no idea. My wife is totally awesome, honestly. Any suggestions for security clearance? Yep, reach out to me afterwards. Can I re-say the Google search thread again? For advanced search is google.com / I think advanced _search. Any way we can diverse candidates in LinkedIn or Google search? Yep, reach out to me. Irina just released her 40 custom search engines. Hell yeah, Brett. That's so cool. If you send that to me, I can share it with everybody else. Sorry, I'm reading questions. What is your Twitter handle to follow you? Gotham Tech Talk, TECH Talk. Can I do another example of finding a resume on Exclude? You can reach out afterwards and I can go through with you. It's a pain in the butt and very specific for what you're looking for. Can I show us the settings to my LinkedIn page? I can. I sure can. Image search, not in this one, sorry. Don't forget, blah, 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 blah. Can we search exact years? You'd have to use the around search. I think we talked about that with the graduation earlier. Difference in results when I move DevOps and linked is the fact that it is an estimation. Yeah, so I get that it's an estimation when you're doing a search on LinkedIn, but sometimes the estimations are like 300,000 profiles off, and I stopped calling it an estimation when you're off by 10% between them. But it's a very, very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So I'll go quickly so people can follow. There are things called stop words. Stop words are words that have been eliminated due to AdWord content. So Google, who had the foremost Boolean engine, still does, in October of last year, removed the stop words from their search if it falls within Boolean logic, meaning if it's in quotes, it will now show up. Previously, it would not. So the word in, for example, is here. So check this out. If you do a search, right, site : linkedin.com /in, and you did in Scala, right? I want to see people who've coded in Scala, it will show up. Now, conversely, this is another reason I don't search on LinkedIn. You cannot do it on LinkedIn. If anybody wants my SSAR page or any of this, just email me. Check this out. If you want to search for in Scala, and then I don't know, we'll add N DevOps just to lower the results. 31,000, and we'll do Detroit, I guess, because someone mentioned it. This should be a low number. 42, right? So 42 results. Watch this. I'm going to eliminate the in. 42 results. LinkedIn does not let you search with any of these stop words, even if it's in quotes. This Boolean string builder, if anybody wants, again, reach out. I just had it so if you paste a bunch of stuff here, it'll build your string for you automatically. So if you have a bunch of stuff you want to look for, that'd be the way to do it. Hopefully this is making sense. The best thing ultimately that you can do for this is getting on a platform that's actually designed as a sourcing platform, right? Like Loxo has a really, really good capability of being able to actually search for in Scala or with Scala, etc. And you can even do it within particular areas of profiles, right? So advantage over LinkedIn, you can actually do this natural language search. Advantage over Google, you can search for specific titles, right? You're not limited to try and finagle around and things like location, right? You don't have to try and finagle around your different around functionality. So these sourcing platforms are always going to be your best bet over LinkedIn or Google. Loxo is unique, and this isn't because they're hosting this webinar. They are the only sourcing platform out there that I have found, and I'm on a lot of them, that allow you to use stop words when you're doing this. So 72 results. If you replace this with just the word Scala, boom, clear difference, guys. Super, super important. And that's how you're actually going to be using things like natural language search while you're looking for stuff. Around versus near, we talked about that a little bit. Near doesn't work on Google and it sucks on Bing. So let's talk about character limits. So Google will tell you it's term-based and says it's 32 characters. However, this search will come back and not cut anything off, and it's way more than 32 characters. But you'll notice if you add literally anything else after this, it cuts it off. So interesting, it actually winds up being closer to like, if I remember correctly, I think I have it down here, 65 terms or so. If you are familiar, and Eric Jaquith and I go through this a lot, Eric asked, does Loxo support boosting words using the caret? No, it's not a caret. They have a different functionality for it. You may remember the pipes. So, and I said, no use for the pipes on Google. It doesn't change the amount of search words that you can search. So on Google, your pipes do not help you in any way whatsoever. However, Bing is not word-based, it's character-based. So there are on Bing, I believe, 1,000 characters that you can use. I have the number written. Yep, 1,000 characters. So your pipes will actually help you, right? So this is a random, totally random search I ran. And you'll notice it cuts off right here. It literally just stops your search. There's nothing that you can do with it. If you replace all of them with pipes now, you'll notice that you're able to get in a lot for, of course, thanks Bing, I appreciate it. You're able to get in a lot more of your search because there's just simply less characters. So you'll see the gray where it got cut off is back here. So you've added in all these extra characters. Now, fun tip and trick, guys. You want to run a really long search? Check this out. If you type in Bing and hit tab, you now can search Bing in your URL bar. And I'm telling you, I haven't found a limit yet on this. Check it out. So it'll just keep going, keep going, keep going. This is hundreds of search terms right now. Hundreds and hundreds of search terms. So it's a cool way to kind of break the system. Again, is hitting Bing, hitting dash, and then going through and typing it out there. Other interesting things to note. LinkedIn title limits are super inconclusive for me. I'm still trying to find what makes it break and what doesn't. Keywords are roughly 122. 122 terms. That doesn't include or statements and statements. And the companies is over 500, guys. You can have over 500 companies in your LinkedIn company search. If you don't believe me, You can literally take a look. There's 584 terms here to search through the company list with. Boop, right here. And you can go to LinkedIn, close that, go to companies, and it will run your search. In Detroit, it's going to be a little tougher. Yep. And it still runs. So you guys can look for the Fortune 500. If you have the list, you can build it. So that is company limits. And I think the very last thing, I'm going to rush through a little at the end here, is showing you guys how to build what I have up here, where I type in LI tab, and then I can type in, I don't know, Keely and Loxo. Sorry, Keely. Boom. And it will auto-populate this. So here we go. Make sure people are still here. Awesome. 3 dots on the top right of Chrome. Settings. I'm going to try to go slow. It's not in my nature. Scroll down. You're going to hit search engine. When you do, manage search engine. So to repeat, 3 dots, settings. Scroll down, manage search engines. It says other search engines. You're going to click add. Now, what you're going to do is go to a new page and type in site:linkedin.com/in and hit enter. Cool. This URL here is what you're going to focus on. So you're going to copy it and you're going to paste it here in the URL. It is important to note, as you see here, you want to replace the URL with %s wherever the search is. So what does that mean? I wrote it out for everybody. So you can do this. I'll make it bigger. So what you're looking for is every place that I put %s, I want you to do the exact same thing. It's going to say 2fin plus, or 2fin, and then right after 2fin, you're going to put in plus %s. Same thing here, plus %s. You're going to hit, I'm going to leave this up for 2 seconds, and then I'll explain for everybody. You'll see it says 2fin plus, you want to add plus %s. Plus %s, and that'll get you to where you need to be with this. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to call it whatever you want, right? LinkedIn profile search or whatever, and you're going to type in your keywords. I do LI for LinkedIn. Whatever you type here is what's going to trigger it in your URL bar. So you go LI tab, and then boom, now it's search LinkedIn because that's what I called it. Site linkedin.com/in testing. If anybody has questions or they're struggling with that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to pull this up now so you guys have it. This is a link to my Boolean builder. It's open. Come hang out, use it. This is the advanced search link. This is my email and my LinkedIn. Guys, don't hesitate to reach out. I love helping. This is all part of kind of what I enjoy about this industry. So reach out with questions. I'm happy to help. I will try and see if there's anything else I can answer really quick. CSU URL search for LinkedIn or other sites. I don't necessarily understand the question. I apologize. But obviously, feel free to reach out. Interested in learning more about clearance searches? Yep, no problem. Just shoot me an email. How can we do Boolean for GitHub with multiple coding languages? The exact way that we'd go through. And do site:/github.com. It's not that, it's blocker report. And then you can do something like, I don't know, Python around, I don't know how many words it is. So let's do 40 from repositories, or, you know, I don't know, Ruby around 40 from repositories, and just play around with this and see how it works and what comes back. Boom, Python through other repositories, great. And you'll probably be able to do that, or maybe you want an and statement, and so you can search for both. Boom, I imagine these people have both in their background. We can do a quick little check here, look at their repos. Boop, 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 CSS, Python, it's right there. And somewhere there should be a Ruby work as, yep, Ruby right there. Cool. Can you eliminate the spaces between the pipes to increase characters? You cannot. You cannot. Do the spaces count as characters on Bing? I believe they do. There's actually a super easy test that we can give for this. I have a search saved just in case we wanted to do this. Hang on. Bing.com, and let's run the search. Nope, so you need a space in between all the pipes, which is what I thought. It's the same thing in Google. You'll see this only gets 8 results, the exact same search with spaces in between. Brings you back 941,000. Interestingly enough, if you do the exact same search with and or statements, you get a different number. And again, I get it. This is an estimate that's 100,000 off. So why? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. Is there a limit on LinkedIn searches if you don't have Recruiter or Premium? Yes. I don't remember if they're exactly the same or not. I know that the name section is 729 for first names exactly. I'd have to cross-reference if companies and keywords were the same, but I'm happy to do that. So you add a plus sign in front of percentage S. There you go. Actually, let's see if I can do this and type this and see if this helps. Boom. Hopefully everybody got that and can see it. How do I get started and learning this? Great question. First thing, start going to content providers, Recruiting Daily, ERE, SourceCon. That's just so you can see it on the page, Recruiting Daily, ERE, SourceCon, and start reading their blogs. Next, identify who you like in the industry in terms of the way they work and the way they communicate, and check out what content they have. They probably write or have webinars or YouTube videos, etc. And then best, just reach out to them. I promise if you reach out to me or any of the people I know or I'm friends with in this space, they will gladly write back to you. No one's going to just shut you down. We're trying to make this community better. It's part of Loxo's mission, right? And so that's why I like doing stuff with them. We want to make this community and this industry better for everybody. Will there be a character limit for LinkedIn searching even after the search engine settings change? Not sure what the question is, and I apologize for that. I don't know that I'm understanding, but you can always reach out to me directly. We can chat real quick. Any recommendations to search Facebook? Yeah, Intel Techniques was freaking awesome. That's dead now. Honestly, your best bet, because they killed graph search last year, is to just site search through it. It's just literally site, facebook.com, and then work with all of the different functions around and things like that to find folks. The easiest, and again, I'm trying not to just like shamelessly plug Loxo here, but like this still is going to be the best way to try and find people, right? No public profiles, you want diversity, you can't do it simply anywhere else, right? You can search for this here, security clearance, same thing. And you can build out fairly complex Boolean strings there. And as you see, you can kind of search Boolean through or anything. Guys, if you're on LinkedIn Recruiter, whenever your license is up, don't renew it. For the exact same price, if not a little bit less, you can literally get something that is Loxo, their sourcing tool, their entire sourcing platform. They have an outreach tool, they have an ATS, and one of the top 3 email finding and contact info finding tools on the internet for less money. And it's just so much easier to work with. What am I actually doing to change all the pipes to or in a search? Hey, great question. You know what? I dig that. I'm going to show you right here. Ready? Check this out. What I would do is take this, and I don't know, let's take this one right here. So I'm going to do it the other way, ors to pipes. It's the same functionality. Literally open up a document. Ready? Boop. And go like this. Control F to find. And then I go space or space and replace with space, bar, space, replace all. There you go. That easy. Someone asked if Loxo works in Canada. It does. It's not limited to a particular country. It's a global search platform. It really, just imagine it replacing LinkedIn Recruiter, but with more search functionality and ability to build more complex and natural language Boolean strings. How do I keep a track of a candidate pipeline? Reach out to me about that. I use Loxo as my ATS as well, because it's easy to keep everything in one place, but just reach out and I can kind of share with you what's out there and why you'd use one thing over another. Next question. So it would work for South Africa as well. Yes, you are so far away from us physically, but not in spirit, and certainly not in technology. Yes, you can certainly do the search down there as well. I think I've talked to Vanessa Rath about it, who I believe that if you live in South Africa and have a pulse, that you know Vanessa Rath. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I view it. So you can certainly talk to her as well, but yes, it does work. Someone asked, I'm assuming Octopus wouldn't work using Loxo. I actually have no idea what that is. So maybe? Oh, Vanessa Rath just wrote to me. That's fantastic. Hi, Vanessa. Guys, any other questions, anything about Boolean or searching that I can help you guys?